I guess we can get started. Might be a little bit of a short meeting today. I realize that it's been a month since the last one, but very little of that time has been doing anything due to holidays. So I'll kick us off with a quick update on 3.11. So we did release that. It came out December 18th, which feels like yesterday, but it's actually coming up on a whole month now. So I think we talked about it a little bit last time, but main things there are Kate's dual stack, which Neil demoed for us, as well as some OpenStack plugin improvements to support etcd authentication, and a whole slew of other things that you can check out in the release notes. I think one thing to call out for OpenStack users is that the 3.11.0 release had a release issue, so we patched that in 3.11.1, so everybody should just use that. But everybody else except for OpenStack users should be unaffected by that. Gathering up things to go in 3.11.1. There's not really much there yet, probably because everybody's been on vacation. But we've got one thing that might go into that around IPAM upgrade, using a different version of the host local IPAM than we're used to, or at least that we've tested with.
Do you mean 3.11.2?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Because we used the .1 already for the OpenStack packaging problem.
Yeah, I just got finished saying that, didn't I? And then
yeah.
So 3.11.2. I am looking for things to put in that. So if anybody tries it out and finds an issue, let me know. Or if anybody is aware of issues, and then we can get that out. I think that's kind of all there is to say about 3.11. We're keeping an eye on it.
Do you think, are we going to need a 3.11.2? Do you think we're?
I don't know. We often do if issues are found in releases. I think they get 2 or 3 patch releases, but as of now, there's really no major issues I've heard of.
Okay. I was just wondering with 3.12 in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue to you, actually. Why don't you tell us a little bit about 3.12?
Sure. Actually, did you request for somebody to take notes?
Oh, good question. I did not. Would somebody like to take notes?
I've been doing it, Casey.
Thank you, Alex. I'm off my game.
Yeah, coming out of hibernation.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Okay, yeah, so for 3.12, like I said, we expect probably in a couple weeks. One of the things going in will be changing how we do the RPF checks in, well, it'll now be in IP tables instead of, I guess, at a kernel level. It was going to be in 3.11, but it slipped a little bit, so it'll be in 3.12. Also, we're hoping to have IPv6 service advertisement. We currently have IPv4 and just need to extend it to IPv6. And also, we're going to be having some per rule metadata. And actually, let's see, are we having a demo? We talked about it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm having trouble getting a cluster up and getting all the changes through to nodes. So
okay,
so I'm going to be able to do a demo, but I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sure. So what this is going to do is add some fields on the Calico API that allow you to specify metadata on a per rule level. So that's anywhere that rules show up in policies. So global network policies, and in profiles if you happen to be messing around with those, which most Kubernetes users are not. But anyway, you can add annotations to rules. So this gives you some flexibility to mark whatever is relevant information about the rules that are going in. So some people are thinking about, well, maybe I want to like store reasons about why these rules are there, or like who touched this rule last, or even kind of what sort of part of the policy does this apply to? Is this a PCI check or something like that? So that gets stored on the API. It doesn't affect the way that the rules are actually processed in Calico, other than in the IP tables backend, any annotations that you add to a rule will show up as comments in IP tables. So if you are trying to trace rules all the way down to IP tables, you can add an annotation to that rule and then just grep for it, and you'll find exactly the IP tables incantations that refer to that rule. So that can be useful for debugging or just kind of trying to understand how the IP tables backend works.
Cool. I had not grokked that at all, I guess. I didn't. Thank you. So yeah, so that's 312. Also in 312, we're the goal is to have the operator that we've been working on at Tigera open sourced, and at least have it documented for the OpenShift v4 installation. It might not necessarily be there at 312 release, but probably add it soon after if it's not there on the 312 release.
Yeah, and that's because it gets its own release stream, so it's somewhat decoupled from Calico releases. It's kind of like a packaging of a Calico release.
Is Brad, I had a question about that.
Yeah.
Is that's going to be the operator's just going to deploy open source Calico, not the Tigera Secure or the enterprise version? Is that right?
Well, all releases of the operator are expected to be able to install an open source version and a Tigera or Calico enterprise version. But what will be documented will be the open source version. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. And I'm not sure when 112 was or when 312 was coming out. What's the date you guys are looking for? Previously, we had heard by end of January. Is that
probably the
yeah, I think
2
we're
weeks
still
from now, we're guessing.
looking towards the week of the 20th.
okay? Excellent. Yeah, we're planning to pick that up and try and get it in with OpenShift 4 for our stuff pretty quick. So good to hear. Thanks.
Yep. So that's all for 312. That's all I had, Casey.
Cool.
The operator stuff's super exciting. Really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see people using it and seeing if our assumptions hold true and getting all that feedback. I'm also really excited about the stuff Spike was talking about, just from a quality of life perspective. Debugging is going to be super nice. Yeah, okay, thanks, Eric. So sounds like we don't have a demo, but does anybody have any Calico heroes they would like to talk about? It's possible that not much has happened in the last month, but
What about those chaps in France? I don't think they're able to make it to the meeting today. We've been working on the VPP data plane.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Aloys, Augustine, and Nathan, some name that I'm not going to attempt to pronounce because I'll mangle it.
Do we know how that's going? like how they're getting along with it?
I believe it's just alpha or beta, not quite. I can't quite remember which it is yet. But they're chatting with other Calico maintainers, and we're starting to work more closely. They had hoped to have a demo, but weren't quite ready for this community meeting.
Okay.
So we should we'll have them showing us it all next month, which will be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe the third incantation of VPP data plane for Calico. So there's a good chance it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I started chatting with them a bit. Plan to do so some more. They said they should be ready for a demo next month. Any other thoughts, heroes? Can't nominate yourself.
You can nominate yourself, but I don't think anybody will.
I don't actually have any names prepared, but I just wanted to mention there's a lot of interesting chats going on in various GitHub issues around details of service advertisements, and places where we sometimes see unwanted SNATs and things like this, and also exactly how it works when we have a direct kind of eBGP peer. So I kind of don't actually have the names ready. I kind of could tell you their GitHub IDs, but that's not really names, is it? But it's just great that people are providing so much kind of detail into looking into some of these scenarios and kind of helping us over the long term. It's still taking a while, but hopefully we'll eventually get to the bottom of all of those issues. So yeah, kind of heroes there.
In a way, a GitHub ID is more powerful or more real than a name.
Well, in case anyone happens to know who it is, I'll mention CFISK then. CFISKE. There you go.
Awesome.
Really good debugging he or she has been doing.
Calico hero.
Thank you, Neil. So
and all the other heroes have basically been on vacation.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a quiet meeting today.
Heroic holidays.
Cool. I think that's all except for Q&A or any other topics that folks want to talk about.
Neil, since you brought that up, I'm going to ask you. So,
yeah,
right now, service advertisement, or no, well, I guess maybe this isn't the same thing exactly, but to get IPs, source IPs, we have to do right now, as I understand it, it has to be a node port and external traffic policy local.
That's right,
correct?
Yes. That's right, yes.
And it is only node port that it works for, right? Why is that?
It's because Kubernetes only allows you to specify external traffic policy local with a node port service or a kind of something higher level that's above node port. So there's a kind of hierarchy. You have load balancer after node port. So in specifically, you can't specify external traffic type traffic policy local on a cluster IP service. I think that's the point. So yeah, we're kind of advising if you want that kind of data path where the whole point is to try and avoid an SNAT on the inbound connection, so that you know who the real external source is who's connecting into you. We advise people to kind of configure a node port service, even if they only really want a cluster IP one. So it's a bit messy, but that's where we are at the moment.
So you're saying load balancer is higher level than node port. So does that mean you can do it with load balancer also?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I got a GitHub issue for you to look at then.
As in, like a load balancer controller will then create a node port? Is that what we mean by higher level? Or
I think so. I think all of these things build on top of each other. So I think any type of service, if I understand correctly, will make a cluster IP, will allocate a cluster IP, and then if you've got after a node port, it'll do a node port on top of that, and if
Right.
you don't ask for load balancer, you'll get a load balancer on top of that, and so on. But you
Right.
know, I could be wrong in some details here. Yeah.
No, I think that's right. And then it's up to whatever the implementation of the load balancer is to make sure they can honor the external traffic policy, or to honor the source IP as well.
Yeah. And the bane of my life at the
and I
moment
think it
seems
works
to be,
even. I think it works even if you don't actually have an external load balancer implementation as well. So I think this is mostly a case of untangling the Kubernetes documentation that's not super clear in this area. And maybe we should write like a little how-to guide or something that makes this trivially easier for Calico people to get their heads around. I had a question which was, I think I knew the answer to this already, but I've totally forgotten. What's the context for moving RPF into IP tables?
That was in, I think, System D has updated to where they set, what is it, loose now, I think?
loose, yeah.
Instead of strict.
So, yeah,
go
I mean,
ahead.
I can say this. So there's in the kernel, there's basically there's a parameter, a sysctl parameter called RP filter, and it has 3 possible values, which is 0, 1, and 2. 0 means no RPF checking at all. 1 means strict, and 2 means loose, which so strict means that whenever you get a packet, you basically look at the source IP on the packet and check that if you were routing back to that source IP, you would be going out the same interface. Loose is a slightly looser variant of that, which I forget the detail of, to be honest. I'm sure someone knows it on this call. But the thing is, there's also a weird thing, which is that if you specify a kind of default for the whole box RP filter, and you also specify a per interface value, then the value that applies is the numerical maximum of the 2 values. And what has started to happen is that systemd, and therefore basically all Linux distributions, have now defaulted to setting the loose value globally.
Okay, and then Calico needs to.
And that means we can't set strict on a particular interface because it doesn't take effect anymore.
Right, so you can't. Yeah, it doesn't take effect on the interface, and so therefore you trigger it in IP tables instead.
Yeah, correct.
All right, cool, makes sense.
I wonder how that numerically greater behavior came to be.
Yeah.
It feels like it didn't come from the security team.
Legacy craft.
It's like, oh, you left your window open, so therefore we've disabled all the door locks as well. Cool.
Cool. Any more for any more?
All right. Short and sweet this week then.
Yeah. Good to see you all. I'll give
Yeah,
you
happy-
40 minutes
happy-
back.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone.